Visiting with Robert Kowalski, the author of The New 8-Week Cholesterol Cure. Bob, you wrote another book prior to this, right? This is The New Cholesterol Cure. What are some of the changes?
Well, that first book came out in 1987, the original 8-Week Cholesterol Cure, the one that started people eating oat bran back in those days. And I had to petition my publisher to allow me to completely throw that book away, rewrite it entirely. And they balked at first because the book was still selling. They said, why bother bringing out a new one? And I said, because it is literally obsolete at this point. We've learned so much over the course of time regarding control of cholesterol that I just had to do a completely new book.
Wow. And what's one of the major things that changed?
Oh, the big one for me, as far as I'm concerned, is diet.
Yeah,
on the front of the old book, if you were to bring one out, you'd see it's the 8-Week Cholesterol Cure, how to lower your cholesterol in just 8 weeks without drugs, without deprivation. Well, Lyle, it was deprivation now that I look back at it 20 years later in retrospect. Back in those days, in the 80s and well into the 90s, the belief was that all fat raised cholesterol. Didn't matter where it came from, what kind it was, all fat and cholesterol itself raised levels of cholesterol in the bloodstream. Today we know that that's just not true.
So understanding your diet and following through
Yep.
is extremely important in maintaining your cholesterol.
Right, but it's easier than ever before. Again, in the old days, all fat was off the table. Today we know that we need only control and limit the amount of saturated fat, which would come from the full-fat dairy products, milk, cheese, and so forth. But that's easy to do. It's easy to find dairy foods in the supermarket that indeed are low-fat or even non-fat, including the cheeses, although I must say the non-fat cheeses
don't taste
they may look like cheese, but they don't taste like it. They don't melt like it. But the new low-fat cheeses are remarkably good. So there are all of these choices available. Same thing with the saturated fat. A lot of people think, and still a lot of doctors and nurses will tell patients, cut out the red meat. Well, that's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There's nothing wrong with red meat. The problem is just in the fat. So make your choices accordingly. Instead of having a fatty cut of beef, look for the words loin and round in the name. So round of beef or beef round roast, round steak, sirloin steak, especially the top sirloin, is relatively low in fat, especially if you cut that rind off. It's a little trick that I use in my own household. I look for London broil on sale. London broil is a big chunk of round steak done as a roast to be marinated. What I'll do is wait for it to be on sale. I'll buy 10 to 11 pounds and then hand those packages to the butcher and say, trim off the rind and then grind it. Number one, I'm getting really fresh ground beef. And number two, I'm down to 5% fat. That's about the same level as skinless chicken breasts. So saturated fat we want to cut back on, and the trans fats. The trans fats are gradually disappearing because people realize that they're even worse than saturated because they not only raise the bad, but lower the good cholesterol. Eventually, we won't even see those on the market. So many manufacturers are now seeing the light and taking that out of their products and reformulating. But looking at it from a very positive standpoint, I remember writing in the first book, limit the amount of nuts that you eat because they're 80–90% fat. Today we know that people who snack on nuts on a regular basis, that is to say a handful, that would be an ounce, ounce and a half of nuts a day, and any nuts will do. Research has been done with all kinds of nuts. Those people who snack on nuts on a regular basis have less heart disease than people who don't eat nuts, even if that means that the percentage of fat in their diet is significantly higher. Same thing goes for avocados and olives, olive oil, canola oil. All those kinds of healthy fats actually help to protect the heart, and there's no bigger hero in that class than the omega-3 fatty acids from seafood, especially the fatty fish like salmon, herring, and so forth.
Well, all that information is in this book. You have a lot of recipes. We appreciate your advice and look forward to talking to you more.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.